Welcome to the Gold Plus Roundup, the monthly show where we play all of the games with Gold and PlayStation Plus games that are free every month. We play them and tell you what's worth your time, because time is money, and your time is valuable. A lot of these games you may or may not even put in your cart, may or may not put on your account. You may miss something good, or you may waste your time playing something bad. So we're going to help you.
We have a slight disclaimer. This month they released the first PS4 or PSVR rather
Correct.
game, and that's Rigs. It's a $60 game normally, and so go ahead and put that in your cart. Check it out if you have a VR setup.
Yeah, if you don't, put it in there, because you never know.
Just in case.
You never know. Stack these games up. I did this with a PlayStation Vita before I got a Vita. I put a bunch of games on there, so I ended up getting my Vita. I ended up having like 20 games just ready to go. So do that. That's our first recommendation. Second recommendation is
Infamous Second Son.
Yes.
Infamous is an amazing series that's a lot of fun. This is the weakest, but that's also like saying that Return of the Jedi is the weakest of the original trilogy. It's still fantastic.
It's still fun.
It also has a lot of kind of weird things because it was very close to the beginning of launch. So like there's a part where you take it and you like spray with your controller.
Yeah, because they're trying to
and
do
so like there's some weird gimmicky things in there. But overall the game is a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of variety in the missions, and you get to run around in Seattle. You can actually go to certain places in the game and see things that are in Seattle. Because I'm from there, that was especially useful to me.
Yeah.
But the powers are fun, traversal is fun, and your character is kind of a jerk, but he's having fun blowing stuff up.
Sure.
So Infamous Second Son, recommended.
Totally recommended. I also recommend Oxenfree, which was free for the Xbox One. Oxenfree is a game by Night School Studios, and it is a dialogue-based adventure game. It's an adventure game with some slight puzzles. They're not very hard. The game progresses based on the dialogue that you choose, similar to like a Telltale game, except you have more action than in a Telltale game. As you're walking around and doing different things, you have to answer certain questions. It is completely viable, just like in the Telltale game, to not answer any questions. You can be very kind to people, you can be very mean to them, depending on what you do. But the game takes place as a group of friends. You play Alex, who she's going with a couple of her friends to an island, Edwards Island, and kind of partying to celebrate the end of their junior year in high school or whatever it is. The plot is interesting in my opinion. There's a little bit of mystery involved, and I really enjoyed it. It's also not very long. I think I completed it in about a little over 5 hours. I'd highly recommend it. Don't worry about completing everything. You can still get a lot out of the game just based on your choices. Just enjoy it and go for the ride.
Next up we have Truck Racer, which was on PS3. I like racing games that allow you to kind of customize your rig. Yeah. Well, in this case it is an actual rig. But like if you upgrade your brakes, then it messes with your acceleration. If you go all into acceleration, then it messes with your handling. And so there you can't get too OP. My main beef with this game is that there's a saying, if you're not the lead dog, the view never changes. The amount of dust and dirt and smoke kicked up by the trucks in front of you is really problematic. There were times when I would have to actually look at the map to actually make a turn if I'm not in first place, and that was not fun.
Yeah.
But it is a competent racing game with interesting design aesthetics that allow you to customize your rig in the way that you want. So if you're just looking for something dumb and fun to run around and smash trucks into each other, this is that game for you.
Yeah. If you like Call of Duty, then Battlefield 3 is probably for you as well. I personally thought the story wasn't quite as good as some of the Call of Duty games, but the storytelling in the way that it tells in flashbacks, you're basically being grilled on what happened in your missions, and you're going back and playing them as flashbacks, which is an interesting way to tell a story. But one thing that I think this game has over Call of Duty is the use of vehicles. And I think that's one thing that Battlefield has done very well, and I enjoyed about this game. It may not be my cup of tea in regards to the multiplayer aspect, but I liked the story to it, so I would recommend it.
We Are Doomed was available for PS3 and PS Vita. It's a twin-stick shooter, very simple, kind of in the style of Geometry Wars. You're also, like Geometry Wars, you're collecting crystals that drop from enemies. It's very much a score chaser game, and so It's a twin stick shooter with various levels. There's not a whole lot of variety as far as enemy types are concerned. There's some that shoot at you, some that don't. But I felt that it was much easier to tell what was going on, and so your ship's fast enough. You can dart in between. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff. And so as far as twin stick shooters go, this is a pretty decent one. I guess recommended to try if you want to try that, and if you grab me on PSN twin_pi, you can try to beat my score. Yeah. So if you want to do that, go for it.
And if you want to play Handball, I guess you can play that on PlayStation 3. Handball 2016 was free this month, and I think that, I mean, it's not a horrible game. In the days of really bad games that barely work on Steam, this game is not horrible. It's adequate with what it's trying to do. The only problem to me was the mechanics in regards to blocking or in regards to defense. Mechanics weren't good enough that I could try to trick someone up and then be able to steal the ball. The offense to me was a little too easy, because you can do either like a regular like quick shot or a jump shot, and the jump shots, while you're up in the air, you adjust where you want the ball to go, and the goalie's already moving this way, so you just point the other way and you get it. So once I realized that, I hit every single, as long as I had an opening, I got every single shot. The problem was, so did the computer.
Yep.
Because defending wasn't easy enough, and also, unless I'm wrong, I may be wrong, but I couldn't figure out how to play the goalie. You can change as defense, it was changing my players, change.
Yeah.
And I never got it to hit the goalie. It may have been my playing on it. I wanted to play as soon as I went to defense, I was like, I don't care. I'll just play the goalie.
Whatever else happens.
Because once I stop the ball, I got possession, and I'll go from there. But I wasn't able to do that. So, to me, I personally didn't like this. I feel like it has about like PlayStation 1 level of gameplay mechanics. Yeah. The audio was really good. The visuals were pretty good. The audio, I mean, they're talking about the players, and they're commenting relatively well. I think that was done well. But personally, it just wasn't my cup of tea.
Okay. Then we had Strike Vector EX. If you don't want to be a person throwing a ball, if you want to be a ship shooting lasers,
yeah, then you can do that. Strike Vector EX is a futuristic dogfight game that has a flimsy story but is really pretty fun. The voice acting isn't very good. The story is just there to kind of hold things together. It's just enough to give you context, which is what I really appreciate. You've probably heard me say that tons of times on this show. It's enough to keep you going, and the dogfights are great. If you play this multiplayer, it's up to 12 people playing. It's a lot of fun. It's competitive enough, but quick enough that you won't be disappointed.
And now for something completely different. Hatoful Boyfriend is a game in which you play the only human at a pigeon high school.
Yes.
So if that doesn't tell you how weird this game is, then let me tell you that you can also see them as human versions of the pigeons, and that at least one of the pigeons has a real-world live journal that has posts about the hotspots for pigeons to be in. This game is amazing and weird and bizarre and quirky, and there might be devils involved. Literal demons and devils. And you'll have to play the game yourself to figure out if what I'm telling you is true or if I'm just making stuff up. But yeah, if you can't play Hatoful Boyfriend, this game is bizarre and fun and weird.
We love you, Japan. We also got Hydro Thunder Hurricane for the Xbox 360.
Woo-hoo!
This is the arcade game you may or may not be familiar with, that you play a speedboat racing kind of thing. And it is ridiculous. It is over the top. It is fun. It can be the water aspect of the game can be a little hard to control certain turns. If you kind of have to play, to me, you have to play aggressive enough to get the right positioning and kind of screw over other players more, because the NPCs will inadvertently screw you over in trying to make their turns. So I really enjoyed this game. It's one of my favorite games to play in the arcade. The only thing I didn't like was in this, the more you play and the better your score is, the more coin you get, and the coins then let you unlock different levels. So it's not a microtransaction thing, it is an in-game currency thing. So I had to play I played the first 2 levels, and I didn't have enough to play the 3rd level, so I had to play the first 2 levels again to get enough currency to play the 3rd level. That was a little annoying to me, considering I got 1st place on the first one and 2nd place on the second one. I would think that would be adequate enough. But still, a very fun game if you like that. I highly recommend this for a lot of people. And we also got Forza 5 for the Xbox One, which I recommend for the car nuts out there. Forza has continued to be the game when it comes to racing simulation, and they're the one to beat when it comes to that. When it comes to the accuracy in speccing your vehicle, in racing, in graphics, they're phenomenal. And Forza 5 shows just how great it can get. And this is coming from a guy who plays way too many racing games. I play pretty much all. I'm the resident racing expert here because I play all the racing games in here. There's a lot of trash out there, but Forza has shown consistently, if you want accuracy, if you want a simulation for these cars, Forza's the way to go.
And this game also includes all the DLC from that particular title, so there's a lot of track variety, a lot of vehicle variety. So yeah, go check that out.
Definitely. So let us know in the comments what you think about these games and who you think won this month. Did Xbox win or did PlayStation win? I think it's pretty close considering Oxenfree and Infamous, and there's a lot in there.
Hatoful Boyfriend puts PlayStation over the edge for me because that is a game I wasn't going to get any other way.
Yeah, it's true.
Thanks.
Take care, guys.
That's a lie. I bought it when it came out.